Hello students. In the last presentation, we tried to understand the introduction and central idea of the poem Life. In this presentation, let us try to cover the further topics such as figures of speech used in the poem, and we will try to understand how to write appreciation of this poem. There are four major figures of speech used in this poem. They are metaphor, personification, interrogation, and euphemism. Before we actually discuss the lines from the poem for these figures of speech, let us recall once again about these figures of speech. The first one is metaphor. We all know that metaphor is an implied simile. Like simile, it does not state that one thing is like another, but takes that for granted and proceeds as if the two things were one. Let me give you an example. When we say, he fought like a lion, we use simile, comparing the bravery of the person with the bravery of the lion using the word like. But when we say, he was a lion in the fight, we use metaphor. Hope you understand this. The second figure of speech is personification. In personification, inanimate objects and abstract notions are imagined to have human qualities. For example, this sentence, laughter beholding both her sides. In this sentence, laughter is imagined to have both her sides like human beings, and it is imagined that laughter is holding both her sides. The next figure of speech is interrogation. Interrogation is a rhetorical question. This question is asked not for the sake of getting an answer, but actually to put a point more effectively. For example, who is here to while that will not love his country? In this sentence, the question does not expect any answer, but the writer actually wants to point out that there would be no one who would not love his country. So this is interrogation. The next is euphemism. In euphemism, unpleasant ideas are expressed in gentle way. For example, he has fallen asleep. Instead of saying that he passed away or he has died, this unpleasant idea of dying is expressed in gentle way by using words such as he has fallen asleep. I hope you understood these figures of speech. Now let's see how these figures of speech are used in the poem Life. First of all, metaphor. This is a line of metaphor from the poem. Oft a little morning rain foretells a pleasant day. Here, morning rain is compared to darkness or difficulties in life. Instead of saying that morning rain is like darkness or difficulties, the poetess says that the morning rain foretells a pleasant day. As after the rain comes the pleasant time, in the same manner, after the difficulties of life may come the happy days. The next example of metaphor from the poem is, sometimes there are clouds of gloom. Here, clouds, they are compared to sadness and gloom in our life. The third line of metaphor is, the shower will make the roses bloom. In this line, the roses, they refer to good times, good things in life. And the shower, it refers to the darkness or difficult times of life. It means when the shower is being poured, we are facing with difficult times. But when the shower ends, when the difficult time ends, we come up with the happy times like the blooming roses. And the fourth example of metaphor is life's sunny hours flit by. Here, sunny hours are compared to happy times. I hope you understood the lines of metaphor from the poem. Now let's discuss about personification used in the poem. The first line of personification is oft a little morning rain foretells a pleasant day. Here, rain is given human quality of foretelling, and it is imagined that this morning rain is foretelling a pleasant day ahead. So here, morning rain is personified. The next line of personification is life's sunny hours flit by. In this line, sunny hours are given human quality of flitting by. It means in this line, sunny hours are personified. Another line of personification is what though death at times steps in. Here, death is given human quality of stepping in. It means in this line, death is personified. One more example of personification from the poem. What though sorrow seems to win? Here sorrow is given the human quality of winning. It means sorrow is personified in this line. Hope you understood the lines of personification. Now let's discuss about interrogation used in the poem. Interrogation, as I said, is a rhetorical question and it is asked to put the point more effectively. For example, oh, why lament its fall? Here the poetess does not expect any answer from us. She actually wants to emphasize that though the rain falls, the morning rain comes, but if it blooms the roses, why should we lament? Why should we mourn? Why should we be sad that it is falling? We should not actually. To put this point more effectively, question has been used. Next line of interrogation. What though death at times steps in and calls our best away? Here the poetess wants to put a point that we should not lament over the passing away of our loved ones, because the hope in our life will help us to continue with our life. It will help us once again to go on with the life, and so we should not lament over it. To put this point effectively, interrogation has been used and the poet says that what though death at times steps in and calls our best away? It means we should not lose our courage. One more line of interrogation is what though sorrow seems to win over hope a heavy sway? Here the poetess actually wants to focus our attention to be more courageous. Sometimes it happens that we think that things are not favorable to us. There are lot many difficulties, hardships and problems. All are coming one after the other and they seem to win. And we seem to lose our hope. But it may happen. And what if it happens? We should be courageous, bold enough to face it. To put this point effectively, the poetess has used interrogation and so she says, what though sorrow seems to win over hope a heavy sway? So these were examples of interrogation. Now there is a line of euphemism in the poem. What is euphemism? In the figure of speech euphemism, unpleasant idea, for example, about a death of a loved one, such ideas are expressed using gentle words. For example, the line, and calls our best away. Calling the best away means passing away of the loved people from our life. So instead of Giving this idea directly, the poetess uses gentle words and says that it calls our best away. It means our loved one, they pass away. So in this way, euphemism is used to express unpleasant idea in gentle way. This is how we covered the figures of speech. Now the other topic that we want to cover in this presentation is about writing appreciation of the poem. This writing skill totally carries 5 marks. We have to write it in the form of a paragraph in our activity sheet. Let me tell you what are the components of this paragraph and how many marks it carries. We need to write the title of the poem and the poet of the poem. For writing these two components, half mark each is allotted. Then 1 mark is allotted to write the rhyme scheme used in the poem. 1 more mark is allotted to write the figures of speech used by the poet. And 2 marks are allotted to write the theme of the poem or to write the central idea of the poem. Here I am giving you an example of writing the appreciation of the poem in the paragraph format. Let us have a glance at it. In this way, we are supposed to write the appreciation in the form of paragraph, covering all the points we discussed in the last slide. Let me read this appreciation for you. The poem Life is written by Charlotte Bronte. Dear students, see that we should write the title of the poem always using a single inverted comma and the first letter as capital letter. We should spell correctly when we write the name of the poet. So I'll read it once again. The poem Life is written by Charlotte Bronte. The poem has 3 stanzas. Rhyme scheme of the poem is ABCB, DEDE, FGFG respectively for the stanzas. It means the first stanza has the rhyme scheme ABCB, the second stanza has the rhyme scheme DEDE and the third one has the rhyme scheme FGFG. In this way, we have covered 3 points here. We have written the title of the poem, the poet of the poem, and we have also discussed about the rhyme scheme used in the poem. Now the next point to write in appreciation is the figures of speech. Let us see how we can write it. There are many figures of speech used by the poetess for better poetic effect, such as personification, interrogation, euphemism. But the one that stands out is metaphor. For example, the shower will make the roses bloom. Here, it is an implied simile as shower is compared with difficulties and roses are with happy times. In this way, dear students, we need not write examples of each figures of speech used by the poet or poetess. We can mention the variety of figures of speech used by the poet or the poetess, and we can give one example of any one of the figures of speech. Let's move further. Now we are supposed to discuss about the central idea or the theme of the poem. This is a motivating poem with optimism as its central idea. The poetess says that the bad things of life are temporary, like a brief spell of rain. Good things invariably follow it. Even during times of great adversity, like the death of a loved one, hope will rescue us and help us to bear our trials. We must look at the positive side of life and have the courage to overcome any mishaps or problems. Dear students, in this way, while writing the central idea or the theme, we must take care that we are writing the central idea or theme and we are not summarizing the poem. These are the important points you should remember. I will try to provide a PDF in which you will find this appreciation written. It is expected that you write this appreciation in your notebook. In this way, we tried to cover the topics like figures of speech used in the poem and the appreciation of the poetry. Thank you.